Hey, Iron Horse community, thank you so much for a successful start to the school year. These first 4 days were a whirlwind, a lot of things going on, and we appreciate your flexibility and the flexibility of your students. So much has been going on that I wanted to shoot a video in order to cover things as we head into the weekend. So, the first thing, it was hot this week. Safety is a top priority, so my first couple points are all going to be about safety. First thing, the weather was really hot. It's going to be a little bit cooler, but it's still going to be in the upper 80s next week. Hydration is key. If your student comes to school with a water bottle, that will be great, a refillable one. We have water stations in 2 places on campus, but staying hydrated is really, really important. Make sure that your students have snacks if they're going to bring those to school, that they're eating lunch so they can stay healthy because they're moving out here in PE and outside the weather is hot. So that is really key to stay safe. The next thing I want to talk about is masking. It is very important that we maintain the requirements for masking. When you're indoors, masks are required for everyone. Proper wear means that your mask fits snugly, your nose and your mouth are covered. So please reinforce that with your students. We are allowed to wear the cloth masks that are multi-layered, the surgical masks, and N95 masks. We are not allowed to have gator necks as a face covering, bandanas, or the masks with the valves in them. Those aren't going to protect us as well as the three previously mentioned. If students are having troubles wearing the mask properly when indoors, it's an on-the-spot correction, and I've addressed that with the staff. But if it continues to be something that certain students can't handle, then we will have to take further actions. I want every student on campus, but if we can't be safe in that sense, then we will have to take a look at what needs to be done and how we can best support the students. The next thing I want to talk about is traffic. I know that it is challenging with so many people coming onto campus. Again, we've got over 1,000 students, and I know that everyone wants to pick up, and it's going to take some time for us to work out all the kinks and for everyone to get used to it. But make sure that you're making safe decisions when it comes to following the traffic pattern. If you're making that right into the um, traffic circle, and then you're coming through the drop-off lane that eventually branches off into 3 different lanes, please make sure you're being safe and that you're dropping your students off on lane 1, which is the drop-off lane. Please refrain from parking and then allowing your students to walk across 4 different lanes of traffic. That is not safe at all. Don't drop in the third lane or the second lane, and students again are crossing traffic. We want them dropped off right there on the curb. Second thing, use caution when you're in that traffic circle. The last couple of days have been good. I've seen improvement there. And then for those, please don't drop off in the traffic circle either. That is not a spot to drop off. If you're in the traffic circle, continue on into the south parking lot, which is area 2 on the map. Now, that area gets kind of congested when it comes to pickup time. And I have been in contact with the city to help with that, because one of the things that I've seen that's backing the traffic up and keeping at a halt right there is the fact that the light on Acosta and the light in front of the community center will be red, which will back up the traffic up to our exit point. So hopefully they're going to work with us to get that taken care of so that there is less of a backup. Another thing that's hindering folks being able to turn out of that south lane is the fact that there are parents and guardians that are parking on Acosta, and it is really difficult to see what's coming from the north direction to the south. So please, I'm going to ask that you not park on Acosta Boulevard right where parallel to the soccer field. That it's really difficult. Again, we've got a short area where folks are trying to turn right onto Acosta, and you can't see. when there are cars that are parked on there. It is a no parking area, and I would hate for anyone to get a ticket. I would hate for any accident to occur because we can't see what's going on there. But again, I know it's going to take some time, and I know everyone's going to figure out what the best things are to do. I've consulted with the city, and the city has helped us plan this layout. So we're going to continue to look at it and see what we can do to make it as efficient as it can be. The next area I want to talk about is technology. The first one is Chromebooks. As was mentioned earlier, all students are going to be issued a Chromebook. Most students have had them issued to them already. If they haven't, they will get them next week. This is a great tool that we have and that many of our teachers will be utilizing. Please make sure that you put it in your routine, that at night students are charging them, and that they put those in their backpacks and bring them to school each day. Our teachers will engage with them and get them on the different platforms using the different tools. Chromebooks won't be the only thing they use. There will be traditional pencil, pen, and paper, but we have the access to utilize that tool. So please, let's make sure that our students have those each day. The next component of technology I want to talk about is cell phones. Students don't need their cell phones on campus. The bottom line is that they can be a big distraction and hindrance. If there is something that a student needs to do as far as making a phone call and communicating with parents, then they can do that in the front office. We ask that parents aren't calling their students during the day. Again, it's a distraction. We don't want the students, filming things that are going on campus. We want them to use those tools responsibly. And that's why we ask that cell phones are put away in backpacks and that they're used before and after school only. If in the past, that's been the form of technology that students would have been able to use under the teacher's discretion. But now that we have one-to-one Chromebooks, I don't think it's going to be as necessary. So just keep that in mind. If students have those out and if they're reminded to put them away, but it continues to be a problem, then we will be collecting those and taking them in the front office, and it will be a requirement for parents to come and pick those up if the students want to have those. So please have your students, if they have a cell phone, to use them responsibly. Next, let's talk about bell schedule. All right, every day of school begins at 8:15. I know that if you looked at the district's bell schedule that they have posted on their website, it says advisory from 8:15 to 8:20 something. That is built into first period class. So school starts every single day in first period when we have our traditional bell schedule. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Every day starts at 8:15. Wednesday is our only day that does not start at 8:15. Wednesday, we've got a 9:37 late start. Thursday, which is also a block day, is an 8:15 start. So 4 out of the 5 days of the week are an 8:15 start. Questions about that, you can always feel free to ask. Wednesday is our only late start date. And then unless it's a minimum day, the end of the day is 2:45 each day. So I hope that that's a little bit more clear. I know that the schedule that the district has posted does make it seem confusing. No late start except on Wednesday. Now that transitions into the next thing, Wednesday. The lunch schedule is a little different on Wednesday, and that's for our 7th and 8th graders. Due to the block schedule, we had to adjust some students' lunches. So please, again, this is in the update written form, but also I'm going to tell it to you as well. So no matter what your student's schedule says for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, here is their lunch on Wednesday. It's based on their 4th period teacher. Your student, as a 7th or 8th grader, has lunch A if they're in Johnson, Tully, Bostic, Vons, Sang, Armstrong, Fawn, Kim, and Zaspana. Okay, if your student has one of those teachers, their lunch is lunch A on Wednesday. Lunch B on Wednesday, if your student's teacher is Gonzalez, Stevens with a V, or Stevens with a PH, Castro, Hammond, Sprickman, Boggs, Borgie, or Maddock. That covers all of our 7th and 8th graders. So again, please make sure that you review this, the list in the written update. Now going back to our Thursday and Wednesday block schedules, we have tutorials. So a tutorial is built in there to provide opportunities for academic support for all of our students. This week, we did tutorials around personal boundaries. We talked about the different types. We talked about why it's important to establish boundaries, and then we watched a couple of videos that showed some explanation of what can happen if you don't set proper boundaries. I'm including the resources in the update, so please check it out, have a discussion with your student around what they learned about personal boundaries. Felt like this was an important lesson to do because many of our students haven't been on a school campus in over a year and a half. And so the interactions might be a little bit different than they were pre-pandemic. So we want to get folks back thinking about, okay, how's my behavior? Is it appropriate? Is it expected? Is it unexpected? How am I making others feel? How am I feeling when I interact with others? So I think these are good discussions that you can have with your students if you haven't had them already. All right, there are a few more announcements in this week's update. Please take a look at those. Again, I appreciate you so much for your support and for a successful first week of school. Take care, and I'll speak with you again next week.